Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to challenge your thinking. Too many people live their lives broadcasting their problems, looking for sympathy, but I want to tell you something. Problems are not meant to be shared with just anyone. Why? Because most people either don't care, can't help, or will use them against you. If you want to move forward in life, you must learn the principle of discretion, direction, and decision. Your struggles are not for public consumption. Not everyone deserves access to the battles you are fighting, the pain you are carrying, or the weight you are bearing. We live in a time where people have made their lives an open book, sharing every challenge, every hardship, and every setback with anyone willing to listen. But let me ask you a question. What has that ever solved? Has complaining to people ever changed your situation? Has telling the world your problems ever lifted your burden? You see, one of the greatest mistakes you can make is to assume that everyone around you has the capacity to handle what you are going through. Some people are not emotionally equipped to understand your struggles. Some people lack the wisdom to give you sound advice. And some people, let me be honest, simply don't care. You must understand that human nature is complex. Some people listen out of curiosity, not concern. Some smile in your presence but celebrate your pain in private, and some will take what you have shared in confidence and use it as a weapon against you. That is why discretion is necessary. Not everyone in your circle is in your corner. The more you expose your struggles to the wrong people, the more you weaken yourself. Why? Because words have power. Every time you verbalize your problems without a purpose, you reinforce them in your mind. You give them life. You make them a greater reality than they need to be. Instead of speaking defeat, you must learn to speak vision. Instead of magnifying your hardships, magnify your hope. Now, does this mean you should keep everything to yourself? No, but you must learn who to confide in. There's a difference between venting and seeking wise counsel. Venting is emotional relief. Wisdom is strategic guidance. Venting often attracts pity. Wisdom attracts progress. If you are always telling people your problems, you may feel heard, but you will not be helped. Think about the greatest leaders in history, the most influential people, and the most successful individuals. They were not people who spent their time complaining. They did not go around seeking sympathy. They understood that their challenges were not meant to be advertised, but analyzed. They chose to guard their words, to seek counsel from the right people, and to use their struggles as fuel for their growth. Your problems should not be a public discussion. They should be a private lesson. Your struggles should not be a topic of gossip. They should be a source of wisdom. You must become intentional about who you share your challenges with, because the wrong ears will never produce the right solutions. Your pain, your difficulties, your trials, they are part of your personal journey. You don't owe the world an explanation. You don't need to prove anything to people who don't contribute to your progress. You don't need to give access to those who don't have the wisdom to guide you. Discretion is not secrecy, it is wisdom. It is knowing that not everyone who listens has your best interest at heart. It is recognizing that your struggles are sacred, and only those who can help you should have access to them. One of the greatest mistakes you can make in life is to believe that talking about your problems is the same as solving them. Many people spend years crying over the same situation, complaining about the same struggle and revisiting the same pain, yet nothing in their lives changes. Why? Because they have confused sympathy for strategy. They believe that if they get enough people to listen, enough people to care, or enough people to feel sorry for them, somehow their situation will improve. But life does not work that way. The world does not respond to those who complain, it responds to those who take action. Problems do not get solved by wishful thinking or emotional outbursts. They get solved by direction, focus, and intentional effort. It is easy to talk about what is wrong, but it takes discipline to seek a way forward. When you constantly look for people to sympathize with you, you create a habit of weakness. You train your mind to seek validation instead of vision. You become dependent on external comfort rather than internal strength. Look around. How many people do you know who always talk about their hardships but never take steps to change them? They tell everyone how unfair life is. They repeat their struggles to anyone who will listen. They expect others to carry their burdens. Yet year after year they remain in the same place, facing the same challenges. Why? Because sympathy does not bring solutions. Emotional support is valuable, but it is not a strategy. There is a difference between sharing your problems and seeking wise counsel. One leads to empowerment, the other leads to stagnation. Some people only want to hear themselves talk. They want to feel understood but not challenged. They want to be comforted but not corrected. They surround themselves with people who will nod their heads, say, "I'm so sorry," and offer kind words. But kindness alone does not build a future. You must be careful not to mistake emotional relief for actual progress. When you truly want change, you stop talking about problems and you start looking for solutions. Instead of dwelling on what went wrong, you analyze what can be done. Instead of seeking sympathy, you seek wisdom. Instead of crying about the past, you construct a plan for the future. This is why direction is critical. Without direction, you will keep moving in circles, repeating the same cycles, and wondering why nothing is changing. The most successful people in life are not the ones who had no struggles. They are the ones who refused to let their struggles define them. They did not waste their time seeking pity, they sought answers. They did not wait for others to lift them up, they found a way to rise. They understood that life does not give you what you cry for, it gives you what you fight for. If you spend your life looking for sympathy, you will always be a victim. If you spend your life looking for solutions, you will become victorious. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is not intelligence, luck, or talent. It is mindset. Some people see problems and get stuck. Others see problems and find a way through. Some people sit and complain. Others stand and conquer. Direction is what separates progress from paralysis. It is what turns pain into power. It is what shifts you from being a person who talks about change to being a person who makes change happen. You must decide, will you continue looking for people to feel sorry for you, or will you start looking for a way forward? Life is a collection of choices. Every day you are given the power to decide how you will respond to your challenges, how you will manage your emotions, and where you will invest your energy. But the truth is, many people spend more time explaining why they are struggling than actually working to overcome their struggles. They use their energy not to create solutions, but to justify their stagnation. They feel the need to explain their failures, to defend their weaknesses, and to seek validation for their setbacks. Yet, none of this brings change. When you focus on over-explaining your problems, you waste the very energy that could be used to solve them. You find yourself rehearsing the same stories, repeating the same excuses, and reliving the same pain, all while remaining stuck in the same place. You convince yourself that people need to understand your suffering, that they need to see how hard life has been for you, that they need to acknowledge your struggle before you can move forward. But here's the reality. Explanations don't change circumstances, action does. The more you talk about why something is difficult, the harder it becomes. The more you focus on how unfair life has been, the heavier your burden feels. This is because whatever you feed grows. If you keep feeding your limitations with words, they will expand. If you keep reinforcing your struggles with constant explanations, they will take deeper root in your life. Instead of using your words to build solutions, you will use them to build walls around yourself. Think about it. How many times have you seen people waste years explaining why they couldn't succeed, why they were held back, why their life didn't go as planned? They will tell you about every betrayal, every disadvantage, every obstacle. They will go into great detail about how life has been unfair. But after all the talking, after all the justifications, after all the explanations, where are they? Still in the same place, still struggling, still waiting for something to change. Your energy is a resource. It is like fuel in a car. If you burn it in the wrong places, you will be left empty when it's time to move forward. Every time you use your energy to explain your failures instead of learning from them, you waste a valuable opportunity for growth. Every time you use your energy to convince others why you haven't succeeded instead of working towards success, you keep yourself stuck. There is a reason why the most successful people don't waste time explaining themselves. They don't sit around trying to make people understand their hardships. They don't spend their days justifying their past. Instead, they take their energy and invest it into moving forward. They focus on overcoming, not over-explaining. They understand that people remember results, not reasons. The world does not reward those who explain why they failed. It rewards those who refuse to stay down. When you make the decision to use your energy for progress instead of pity, everything in your life begins to shift. You stop looking for people to agree with your struggles, and you start looking for ways to rise above them. You stop repeating your excuses, and you start rewriting your future. You stop explaining why you can't, and you start proving that you can. Every person must come to this crossroads. Will you spend your life defending your difficulties, or will you spend your life defeating them? Will you burn your energy in explanations, or will you invest it in execution? Because at the end of the day, energy spent explaining is energy wasted, but energy spent overcoming is energy transformed into success. Ladies and gentlemen, the difference between where you are and where you want to be is your mindset. The less you talk about your problems, the more you can work on your purpose. Stop wasting time looking for ears to listen. Start looking for wisdom to follow. Stop rehearsing your pain. Start rehearsing your potential. Because at the end of the day, the world doesn't need another person complaining. It needs another person conquering. Thank you.